Hello all, welcome to this new series. If you really want to improve chess calculation, then this chess challenge is made for you. It's a 21 days chess challenge. I'm going to talk about the format in a while. Then I am also going to give you very important informations about potential research you may use, like books and websites. Then I will provide you a way so you keep up with registering about your studies and the time you have been practice and of course the performance. Also, I will talk about the importance of sharing, and in the end I will finish with a bit of my experience because I have designed this chess challenge based on some Ramesh ideas, but I have already made it twice. I have the first time it was on the beginning of 2025, and I did it a second time to prepare this series on the end of 2025, beginning 2026. So this is the result of the work that I have been preparing more or less for a year. Let's talk about format. This challenge is going to be around 21 days. And the first thing is 3 weeks every day. The schedule should be 3 weeks every day. And you are going to argue, okay, but that's really hard. Yes, we know that it's hard because we are trying to improve a very hard skill also, but it's a key skill, and so you will find time. It's a question of priorities. Normally life is around priorities. If you want to take serious calculation, then I suggest you keep practicing every day. You don't need to do it all full hours, but if you keep doing a bit during each day, then you are going to improve. I assure you that. And there are many ways. If you are going to I don't know, to a travel and you are in a bus, maybe you can solve some puzzles, maybe you can read some book. So find ways. Of course, I did this and in the passage of the year 2025 to 2026. So I had to face the new year, the visits to the families, and so on. And I still managed to do it. So it's a bit hard, okay, but it's possible. What else? Then the method is based on Ramesh. It was Ramesh that talked about this way of improving calculation. He suggests that if you want to improve calculation, then you need to solve puzzles, you need to solve endgame studies, you need to read and study a book about calculation. I'm going to talk of these materials also on the research chapter. And then you need also to select some games from a player good at calculation and analyze them and think of the key positions, also use it for calculation. So this is more or less the method of the challenge is around these four areas. And then of course there's an important also finish area, which is the skill assessment that should be done also daily. And here I have two examples. One is the chess.com puzzles, and the other is Linux chess puzzle streak. But about research, let's go over there. So for solving puzzles, I have here several suggestions. I have Chess Tempo over here. In Chess Tempo, you can solve two kind of puzzles. You can solve tactics and you can solve end games. I remember on the first challenge I made, on the first time, on the beginning of 2025, I was a premium subscriber. I don't know if the name is premium, but I was paying, and so I get a lot of end game studies, and they were really helpful also. And I consider them also on the solving puzzles area. Here we have Chess. We already know Chess puzzles, and we also can do it on chess.com, although chess.com may not be so easy for this area, for this practice area, because if you are not a premium member, you only get, I think, 5 puzzles per day, which is very short. And if you are in that situation, my suggestion is use, for example, iChess and chess.com for the skill assessment. You also can use books. Here I have two. I have the chess book about 5334 problems. This is László Polgár book. It's the father of the Polgár sisters, which I think it's good for beginners. And then on the back I have here the Woodpecker method. I use this book on this second challenge. I am very happy with it because it has a collection also of very good positions for you to practice. Then, after solving puzzles, you also need to solve endgame studies. Endgame studies are positions that require very good precision to find the solution. There are easier, intermediates, and more advances. On the first challenge I made, I was using Ramesh book chapter 6. Ramesh book is Improve Your Chess Calculation. And then you have chapter 6, which is just for studies, just for endgame studies. And it starts in level 1 and goes until level 4. And I found out it was a very good way for me to do this because it kept progressing, but didn't create much frustration for me. So my level is around 2000 FIDE Elo. But I think if you are not too far away from that, this book is good for you. You also have my series, the study guide about solving studies to improve chess calculation. In fact, I have started the second one about harder studies, so I can get more help while doing the solving practice. And that happened because I chose the chess and game studies for this second try, this second challenge, but I found it really, really hard. So compared with chapter 6 of Ramesh book, this one, the chess and game studies by the great master, and I believe he is still the world champion on composition, Oleg Pervakov. But the studies there are really, really deep, and of course they are a really big challenge. So I decided to create a second series, a continuation of the solving studies to improve chess calculation, so I can also extract some benefits from the practice of harder studies. And back here we have chess-based studies. Chess-based studies, I will provide the link also. It's more a bit disorganized, but still they are there. There are a lot of studies. You can practice while solving them. So you have to find a solution. So you get a good book on endgame studies, or you can use my series. My series is already prepared for the practice, so it introduces to the position. Then you have a 10-minute countdown that you can pause or extend, or then you jump directly to the solution. So this was all prepared also for the challenge, so you can benefit from it the best without losing time. Then we have the section, the area about studying about a book. I have several books over here. We have Candidate Moves by Christian Bauer. It's supposed to be more or less for players that are searching to reach master level. So I would say they are searching to reach 2200 Elo. One feature about the book is that he presents to you from the white perspective, then it shifts for the other side and it presents the same game but from black perspective. So you get a dual view about the same game. Then we have here also Think Like a Grandmaster by Kotov. This is one of the classic books about calculation. I read it a bit and I think it's on the basic side. I think it's a bit outdated also. In fact, I have worked with How to Calculate Chess Statics by Valerie Bine on this second challenge, and it's a more modern book compared to the Think Like a Grandmaster. And it criticizes even directly Kotov book, not criticize, but tries to create a step up around some teams that Kotov has approached and he considered outdated. I agree. Okay, not really easy books to work because they are also a bit written already with some years, so not the best read if you want to be enthusiastic about reading and so on. No, you need to work a bit more. But I will talk about How to Calculate Chess Statics, a bit about the feedback about my experience. Then we have here the Woodpecker Method by Axel Smith and Hans Tikkanen. This book is very famous and I never really pay attention to it. because I saw it more like a beginner's book, a bit on the how can I say, not serious approach, but I was surprised by the positive, and I am using it for the solving puzzles area this time, and I am very well impressed. And I won't say his method is the best because it's based on repetition. So you solve certain positions, then you after a while you solve them again. That's one of the negative critics the book has, that it's not as good as spaced repetition. But I kind of think that we are not here to practice to solve puzzles alone. So they need to relate also for our games. They need to translate the benefits for our games. And the thing is, I use the book just for solving puzzles, and I am very happy with my shots. But probably not here a good recommendation as a book. Then you have Grandmaster Preparation Calculation by Jacob Aagaard. This is for 2200 or above. I don't think this is an easy book, although I know more or less what are the approaches to calculation. I think this is for a more advanced level. I also read the Ramesh Improve Your Chess Calculation book. And in fact, I used on the first challenge I made for me in the beginning of 2025. And my short resume is it's too advanced, too complex. It's more for coaches, probably. It's more written for coaches than for us players that are trying to improve. Nevertheless, I extracted good things, but it's hard. You need to compact a lot. You need to resume it because it has a lot of repetitions coming back to the same places, and the positions, the examples are really hard. So it's more kind of a workbook for a potential coach, something like that. Nevertheless, don't forget chapter 6. It's one of the best for a collection of studies. Then I have these two books. I read also, I haven't read all the books, so most are also based on comments I got on the internet, Reddit, chess.com, and so on. And these two books about the inner game of chess and how to choose a chess move, by both by the same author, Andrew Soltis, were considered good for beginners, starting by how to choose a chess move. So this should be the first, and then the inner game of chess. So both were recommended for beginners. Maybe you can try them if you are really starting. Nevertheless, you need to choose also a book about calculation. You have these suggestions, but you also can find another one. Next area, it's to analyze and to study games of players good at calculation. And the first thing I want to say to you is any top player, Magnus Carlsen, Ricardo Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, Arjun Erigaisi, Vincent Keimer, Alireza Firuja, Nordibek Abdusarov, the Gukesh, of course, Wei Wei, Wesley So, Anishkiri, and so on. They are all good in calculation. So don't get tricked in the idea that, okay, Ikar Nakamura is tactical, so he's good in calculation. Magnus Carlsen is more positional, more in the game, so it's not good. No, forget that. They all are good in calculation. And the problem here that I haven't solved yet, because on the first challenge I chose games from Ikar Nakamura that he was playing in the American Cup, and I was a bit disappointing. Not because he's not a great player, of course, but because the selection of games didn't brought up those tactical moments, those moments where we should calculate deep. So they were not enough complex, so I can really extract the benefit from the time I've spent there. I haven't solved this yet. This time I have chosen Magnus Carlsen games, and I got more or less the same problem. Uh, Here you can see in the back that I have the book that's called The Real Paul Morphy, which is a very good book. It's I always love to study about the life and games about Paul Morphy, and I saw videos and I read books, and I really also read this one and went through all the games, and this is by far the best book about Paul Morphy. And one thing that happened was when I was solving the first day, the first challenge, the one I made on the beginning of 2025, I was also reading this book as an extra, not related to the chess challenge. And I was thinking at that time, oh, I should have chosen this book to get the games of player goods on calculation, because at that time the positions were really complex, they were aggressive, and tactics were around, and you need to calculate a lot. So if you want, I suggest you can opt for this book. If you opt for a player, what tell you is choose a good collection of games. So a collection of games that you are sure they are going to be enough complex and calculation. Probably Tal should be better. I remember to read the book by Tal. I don't have it here. Sorry. I think it was about these games. And yes, you get hard positions there, and you need to calculate. Probably Kasparov also, and so on. So just get a good collection of games to analyze. You don't need to choose many, because 21 days with all these areas won't give you time for everything. So it's better to do some work than no work at all. Okay, and then after that we will talk also about registering our progress. So I've created this PDF. This PDF is based on the four areas and the skill assessments that I am going to suggest. Uh, as you can see here, I have an example for the solving studies registration. So I placed the minutes, then I have pre-written the area as puzzle, then the number of puzzles I have solved, the ones that are correct, because this is work from the Woodpecker book. I want to register Elo. Of course, they all would be from Woodpecker. As soon as I choose one research for solving puzzles, I'm not going to jump around. But I wanted to present you an example of a register on the Live Chess platform and one on chess.com. So you get the example. The same goes for solving studies. So it's the same idea. Here I give you two examples about the minutes and the total of studies tried and ones correct and so on. Then the same, you will find a data sheet also for registering the time you spent on books. In books, you will need more notes, so you remember the last page. Or I use a notebook. I always have a notebook around where I can also register things that I am learning. Sometimes things I want to see better, to review, and so on. And so I also can register over here. And the same goes with games. It's the same thing. You spend some time analyzing a game. And for example, here I have check again Carlsen Nakamura to learn the opening, because I saw a game. I was really interested in the calculation practice, but the opening was also interesting, was a line from the repertoire I play. So I tried, and then when I was working on other areas outside of the challenge, namely on the opening, I reviewed the game again, which is always good. We are always learning. Then you have skill assessments. The skill assessments you need to choose. I suggest chess.com puzzles if you are not premium. The 5 you get per day are a very really good measure of your skill assessment, because the thing about the importance of skill assessments is if you fail, you're out. Okay, that's the idea. I also chose on this second chess challenge I made on the end of last year, beginning of this one. I chose the Chess puzzle streaks also because of that. Because you fail one, you're out. It's not like Puzzle Rush on chess.com where you can fail, if I'm not mistaken, 3 times. No, that's not good, because if you are in a game, you also need to don't accept failures. So you need to calculate very precise, not losing focus, and so on. So the best for the practice, maybe it will humble you a bit. Okay, it will not improve your self-esteem probably, but it's the best way. So the challenge as a purpose is for you to improve calculation, and the harder you do it, the easier it's going to become during the games. Trust on that. And of course, now let's talk about sharing. I think sharing is important if you want to be accountable for the challenge. So also to get some support, some tips, and so on. So my suggestion is you can use this video to comment when you start, when you finish. Notice that people really are not going to be around you all the time to see if you are complying with the chess challenge or not. This is a personal thing. So if you fail, you fail. Try again. Don't worry about that. We are humans. We are not computers. So if you start the challenge and something in your life shows up, and or you lose motivation, because in 21 days, I, I bet you are going to lose motivation, and some days are not going to be that easy. But if you see, if the community works, then maybe you get support from other people that already have been went through the same things, and that's a way to improve also together, not alone. But it's an option, of course. And then let's talk about my experience. So, as I have been talking already a bit on the first time for the puzzles, I have worked with Chess Tempo. I had a subscription there, so I was able to do endless end games puzzles. Nowadays, I think if you are not paying, you can only do two, if I'm not mistaken. So that's very short to work. And then the puzzles. So I'll use this one to solve puzzles. Then for studies, I'll use the Ramesh book about the sixth chapter to solve studies. Was very good, very recommended. Both have worked for me. About the games, I have chosen Hikaru Nakamura games from the American Cup. I did consider that a low point on the challenge, and I was far happier to read the real Paul Morphy book and got far more calculation practice by going through the games and trying to understand by myself those tactics of those times that were really crazy. There are no much many words to praise this book. About what else am I missing over here? About the book study. I have chosen already also the Ramesh book about improve your chess calculation, but I think that it's more on the miss side. So it was too complex, too much for trainers, not very clear. So if I was to start again, I would choose another one. So this is not perfect. Some things are good, some are less good. What's important is I have chosen and I have worked. And skill assessment. I have done the skill assessment with chess.com, 5 puzzles, and then see if my rating was improving. And yes, I got the rating improving in the end a lot. And I was happy. But besides that, I felt during the games far more confident and seeing a lot more of tactics that were going around or calculating with more precision. I went really deeper on the games. That was the basis that I learned from it. On the second try, on this one that I did recently, I tried to improve from the feedback I had myself by my own experience on the first one. About the puzzles, I started to work with the Woodpecker method. So I'll use the Woodpecker method not as the book for the improving calculation area, but for the solving puzzles, and I am very happy with it. And probably I did the full beginners positions, which I don't think that beginner, but maybe it works for. I won't say to. I want to try to risk allos, but I would say 1400, 1500 already good probably. Maybe you have more experience on that because I have only experience for my own ranking skill, of course, and you can comment it so to help others. Then for the studies, I use the Chess and Game Studies by Oleg Pervakov. It's very difficult book. It's a collection of very hard studies. That's why I created the second series about solving harder studies to improve chess calculation. And because of that, I also went back to solving studies, my study series that I have here on the channel, and I use some to refresh and to do some practice, not to end the day frustrated about. Almost always, I never found the solution, at least completely. About the book, I have opted for going with the How to Calculate Chess Tactics from Valerie Bine. At the beginning, I was really not happy because it was too academic, too theoretical, too trying to give examples excessive excessive ways about topics that didn't interest me a lot. And so I need to jump several pages, several examples, and so on until I reach more or less an area around the middle of the second chapter, I would say, which is really practical, and the examples are better. So the conclusion I made was more that probably this type of books, like even Ramesh books, are more designed to make you work just with that one. So if you are not solving puzzles, solving studies from other sources, if you are not analyzing games and you just have one thing to work with for improving calculation, then the book gives you examples from games, give you some studies, talks a bit, and so on. So it works better probably if you are just working with the book, which is not the case. And so I have mixed feelings about my shows. Better than Ramesh book in the practical aspect, better than Ramesh book, but not fully satisfied. About the skill assessments, as I told you, I have chosen Puzzle Streak. I really enjoy Puzzle Streak because I am not good at it, and I lose concentration a lot because I solve it like I am solving bullet chess, and suddenly I fail, and it's go back to the start. And don't think that I fail too far ahead. No, I fail around 14 puzzles. I can fail over there. Of course, I have went farther than that, but it really poses a question if we are thinking or just being there to check the day with the skill assessment. So it's really my suggestion is use the first one you do of the day and it's over. And then the chess.com, 5 puzzles per day if you don't have premium, and use that as a good skill assessment. Of course, you also are going to see improvements in your way to see things and so on if you do the challenge. Nevertheless, if you do the skill assessments, you are more focused to see if you are improving or not. Some comments about the 3 weeks every day. In the beginning, you are motivated, so it's easy. First day, second day, third day, yeah, we are the best in the world. But when you reach normally the beginning of the third week, you are already checking dots, and you should not do that. You need to work that out from the mentality perspective, because okay, it starts to become boring, and you still need to go ahead and do them. That's why I think 21 days is the best, because after 21 days you also really will enjoy a rest. And if you haven't done before, it means that you have achieved something. And that's a point that I wanted to give to you. Another thing about the expect 3-4 hours per day, my approach is more or less I do all 4 areas and the 2 skill assessments every day. That's not negotiable. What is negotiable is the time I spend with each area. So if I have a very stressful day of work and I don't have much time, okay, I do some puzzles, not many. I solve one study. I recommend at least 1 to 3 on the challenge, but I just do one, and then I read some couple of pages, 3 pages from the book, analyze one game, probably a short game without many moves, and I move for the skill challenge, the skill assessment, and it's okay. I have completed the day, and we have another day tomorrow. Of course, this reduces the focus. If you are tired, it's going to reduce the performance, and so on. Whatever. We are doing it. And as we have lower days, we also will have higher days. And so there are other days that I was able to do 1 hour of solving puzzles, and then 1 hour and a half analyzing games, and then 2 hours reading a book, and so on. So the idea is keep it going every day and try to go with an average of an expected time of 3-4 hours per day. And so that's all. It's the best feedback I can give you. I think you also are now going to review probably the resources. I hope you have understand the 4 areas and the 2 skill assessments. You just choose the research for each area, and as soon as you are ready, get set and go. And I keep you up with some more videos of this series, and hope you join also this entertaining and fun and serious chess challenge, and get you with future videos. Bye bye.